Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to tackle a very interesting topic that's essential for any developer working with large files in TypeScript on the client side. Have you ever encountered a situation where you need to read a massive file, but loading it all into memory at once is just not feasible? Maybe you're dealing with huge TSV files, or perhaps you're handling massive JSON data set. Whatever the case may be, reading files chunk by chunk can be a lifesaver. In this video, we'll explore how to read a file chunk by chunk in TypeScript on the client side. We'll break down the process into simple, easy to understand steps and provide examples to help illustrate each point. By the end of this video, you'll have a solid understanding of how to handle large files with ease. So, let's dive right in. When it comes to reading files chunk by chunk, we're essentially talking about processing a file in smaller pieces, rather than loading the entire thing into memory at once. This approach has several benefits, including reduced memory usage and improved performance. To achieve this, we can use the lifesaver API, which allows us to read files asynchronously and process them in chunks. The first step is to create an instance of the FileReader class and specify the file we want to read. We can do this by using the new FileReader constructor and passing in the file object. Once we have our FileReader instance, we can use its Redis array buffer method to start reading the file. This method takes a chunk of data from the file and returns it as an array buffer. The size of the chunk is determined by the chunk size property, which we can set to control how much data is read at once. Now, here's where things get interesting. We can use the onload event handler to process each chunk of data as it becomes available. This event handler is called every time a new chunk of data is loaded, and it gives us access to the raw data through the result property. Let's consider an example. Suppose we're reading a large CSV file, and we want to process each row separately. We can use the onload event handler to split the incoming chunk of data into individual rows, and then process each row as needed. For instance, we might have a function that takes in the raw data, splits it into rows, and then performs some operation on each row. This could be anything from simple data validation to complex data processing tasks. By using this approach, we can efficiently read large files chunk by chunk without loading the entire thing into memory at once. This makes our application much more scalable and responsive, especially when dealing with massive datasets. So, what are the from this discussion? Here's a quick recap. We use the FileReader app to read files chunk by chunk. The Redis array buffer method is used to start reading the file and returns data in chunks. The onload event handler is called every time a new chunk of data becomes available, giving us access to the raw data through the result property. We can control the size of each chunk using the chunk size property. That's it for today's video on reading files chunk by chunk in TypeScript. I hope you found this explanation helpful and informative. If you have any questions or need further clarification, please don't hesitate to ask in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content on TypeScript and web development. We've got plenty of exciting topics lined up, so be sure to stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.